What's up, guys? I'm gonna take you into downtown Halifax tonight and show you how to drive down there. Right now I'm approaching the Windsor Street Exchange, so I just left Bedford Highway. The most important thing here is I know what lane that I want to be in for where I'm going, so that makes it a lot easier. What I'm going to do here is go straight onto Lady Hammond Road. I'll show you my favorite way to navigate downtown Halifax. That's Kempt Road on the right. That's where all the car dealerships are. So now I'm on Lady Hammond Road, and we're going to go straight up to Agricola Street. The speed limit in most of the areas down here is 50 kilometers an hour, and in some areas it will be 40, but generally what you're doing is just driving at a safe speed and driving at the flow of traffic. This road is actually 2 lanes, but as you can see, the same as other videos I've made, the lines aren't painted. So this is why it's so important in Halifax to be familiar with areas where you're driving, because they don't paint lines. So now I just turned right from Lady Hammond Road and I'm on Agricola Street. I'm watching the right side here where these cars are parked, and I'm riding over a little bit further away from them. That way if somebody's sitting at the stop sign, they're going to see me a lot sooner. So the key down here is you just want to see everything ahead. Have a good following distance so you can see what's going on around the vehicle in front of you. So on Agricola Street, you'll have lots of vehicles coming up to stop signs. Some of them might just want to go straight across the street, so they could kind of drive across at the last second. Going straight at the intersection of North Street and Agricola Street. So this is where it can get a little bit crazy. But all I do is I keep a speed where I'm giving my mind time to kind of see everything that's happening. Sometimes you might have something going on one side of the street, but you don't want to focus too much on that. So like if I thought that car was going to pull out there on the right side, I wouldn't want to sort of tune into it too much. What I like to do down here is look straight down the middle. Then if something comes up on the left, my peripheral vision is going to pick it up, and I'm still looking straight down the middle. So if something was to come out on the right at the same time, I can catch it. I was expecting that car to pull out in front of me. So I always take extra time down here for pedestrians, just because a lot of them won't be paying attention. This is one of the only roundabouts that I've seen where you actually can change lanes in it. I used to be really intimidated with driving down here, but what I did was I started coming down on Sunday mornings. It's a lot less busy at those times, so then that gave me a chance to kind of figure it out. As you can see, the lines aren't painted in the roundabout, but I'm familiar with the area, so I know that the left lane jogs over to the right. So in that case, my lane naturally took me to the right, and then I exited to the right. Those little green thingies there, those are supposed to protect cyclists. I'm pretty sure if you were to hit that with a car, it would just fall over. accelerate from a stop, I do it a little bit lighter than I would anywhere else. And that's just covering me in case I miss a pedestrian in my blind spot or on the side of the vehicle or something. See the countdown on the light there? I'm going to make it through this light perfectly. There, it went yellow there. Down here, I know that the right lane is always blocked, similar to Bears Lake, so I'm just staying in the left lane. Nobody's crossing. Now I'm going to go back to the right lane. As long as that walk light is on, then I know that the light is not going yellow anytime soon. So now I'm on Barrington Street. This is the busiest street in Halifax. So what I do is I look a little bit further ahead and try to figure out if a pedestrian that is near a crosswalk might want to cross. And then if I have to stop, it just makes it a lot easier. So that light is not going to go yellow anytime soon. So here I'm watching those guys on the right. I'm thinking they're going. SUVs don't have to obey the rules of traffic. Make sure they get across safely. And away I go. So if I was to turn right here, I would be on Spring Garden Road. Spring Garden Road and Quinpool Road are roads I never drive on because they're not made for cars. I'm watching that crosswalk on the right side here just because that side is blocked by the parked cars. So I had a good line of sight on the left side, so I was more concerned about the right side there. It's 5 p.m. right now, and technically it's rush hour, but rush hour traffic is going outbound, so this is a good time to come down here because I was driving the opposite way of rush hour traffic, so it won't be too busy down here now. And I'm just watching who's getting to the stop sign before I do. The black car on the left, I'm not sure if it's their turn, so what I'm going to do is just ease out slowly. Mr. Scooter made it across. So when you're not sure if the other car is not moving, just kind of gently accelerate, and then if you don't see them accelerate, then that's a sign that they agree with you that it's your turn or they're just letting you go. This crosswalk down here, it's very rare that you don't see pedestrians in it. That white car that was pulling out, I wouldn't have saw that until the last second, but the speed that I'm doing makes it way easier if I did have to react to a hazard or something. So signal lights are in cars for a reason, and that's just so you can communicate with other motorists around you so they're not wondering why did this car just randomly stop here. It's pretty amazing how they work. This is a super busy intersection, but I'm just taking my time. Down here, when I'm in doubt, I just wait it out. As I accelerated there and was doing my shoulder check, I was also thinking that red car could drive straight through at the same time. So I was on Barrington Street, then it turned into English Street. I turned left at the four-way stop near Smew, and now I'm heading down toward Point Pleasant Park. That's the key to all this driving stuff, is being familiar with the area that you're in. So these big creepy gates here are blocking my line of sight, so I have to drive right out into the traffic lane. Nobody's coming. Crosswalk looks good. Now I'm driving into Point Pleasant Park. So this is where you'll get lots of pedestrians, people on scooters and bikes. Everybody's usually out having fun. Looks like there's not too much going on down here tonight. I always take extra time in the parking lots just because sometimes you can get a jogger come out of nowhere or a cyclist or something. And this is a really nice spot if you grab a coffee and come down here on a nice day. You usually see boats and stuff coming in from the ocean. That area on the right side there, that's called Halifax Terminal. So that's where all the ships come in from overseas, and they bring in the goods and stuff that we want to buy in those containers. So they've got anything you can imagine in those containers other than cars. They drop the cars off over in Dartmouth at Autoport. Most of my students mistake that stop sign on the gate for a stop sign like that they have to stop at. You would only stop there if the gate was closed. This is a cool little spot in here where the Halifax terminal is. So this area is all 40 kilometers an hour. And you'll get lots of pedestrians and joggers in here on a nice day. I would only stop at these train tracks if the lights were flashing. SUVs don't have to obey the rules of the road. So the speed limit here is 40 kilometers an hour. That's how people get hurt and killed in downtown Halifax, is people are just going too fast, not taking their time, not paying attention. Down here, I'm watching the right side of this crosswalk. Because if somebody comes out to enter that crosswalk from the right, you can see they're going to appear from behind that building at the last second. And those flashing lights are awesome. That's the Halifax Seaport there on the right side. So here I've got two options. So my lane is splitting, so I put my right signal light on just to let everybody know which option I chose. And now we're on Lower Water Street. So this area has been a construction zone for about 10 years. So it can be very busy with lots going on, but again, you just take your time, look straight down the middle. Pretty much going at a speed where I expected that car to pull out in front of me, then it wasn't a thing. Now we're on Prince Street. We're going to drive straight up to where Citadel Hill is. Now we're going up close to where the Halifax Convention Center is. So this area is probably one of the most shady areas for pedestrians because you won't see them literally until the last second. You see here, I can't see either side of the crosswalks. Looks like it's good on the right there. Left is good. But I'm doing a speed where I'm expecting that I'm missing a pedestrian. And then that way, I know I can stop no problem if one does pop out of nowhere. That's Citadel Hill straight up there. So we're going to turn left onto Brunswick Street, and then we'll go up to Citadel Hill. Left lane, then I switch back to the right. SUV behind me went straight into the right lane. I'm going to exit right down here, but I have to remember there's a bike lane on my right side, so I could easily have a cyclist riding beside me right now. So I got my right signal on. If there was a cyclist, they know what I'm about to do. And I check my shoulder to make sure they're not there, so both of us are safe. On a nice day, you'd be able to see the skyline way off in the distance. You'd be able to see Dartmouth and everything. It's a really nice view. Another common thing down here is you'll get tourists, and if you've ever been on vacation, you probably know you're not always paying attention when you're in traffic because you're taking pictures and you're having fun and everything. So you just want to be extra cautious with that too. So that vehicle put their right signal light on, and they told me, hey, I'm going to pull over. So then I knew they were pulling over, so I knew I could drive around them. So that's how signal lights work. When you turn your signal light on, all of the other vehicles around you, the pedestrians, the cyclists, everybody knows what you're doing. That just helps keep everybody safer. So coming around that corner, I'm just saying to myself, there might be a couple of tourists up here in the middle of the road taking a picture of something cool. But I'm just doing a speed where I can react to all this stuff if I have to. There, I just accelerated a little bit slower so I can make the lane change before the pedestrian there. I'm about 5 feet back from the stop line here. That just gives the pedestrians a little more space. So you can see there's a 10-second countdown on the lights there for the pedestrians. So that tells me this light is not going to go yellow. So this is an all-way stop. So I'm turning from Sackville Street. As I was turning there, I was wondering if that blue car was going to run the stop sign. And the car behind me is like right on my bumper. So remember, everybody gets a driver's license. That white sign there, that means you can't turn right on a red light. So that's why that car didn't turn right away. They had to wait for the light to go green. This is a good situation here. You can see the cars are blocking your line of sight, and then a pedestrian walks out. But I'm doing a speed where I can react to it. So here I want to turn left. There's cars parked on the road here, so I can't see anything. Somebody pulling a U-turn, so I have no choice but to roll right out. Somebody coming at me on a scooter. Here I have to yield. Watching that crosswalk on the right side. Another thing you can do down here too is just crack your windows a little bit, and then you'll hear a lot more of what's going on around you. And now I've got a four-way stop. So I'm going to turn right onto Queen Street. I just kind of look around when I have a red light, just so when I get my green light, I kind of have a heads up of what's happening and who I think might cross, who I think might do what. If I see an SUV waiting to pull out, I might be a little extra vigilant, wondering if anybody's waiting to pull out there on the right side. So there I split my attention between the right side and the cyclist. Here I'm going to turn left, but I see a pedestrian on the sidewalk on the left. As they were coming up, they ended up going that way, but I just made sure that they weren't going to walk across in my path as I was turning. I don't know if this vehicle is parked. I see fumes coming from the exhaust, so it's running. If they had a signal light on, it sure would help a lot. So now I have to do something dangerous because I don't know what they're doing, so I have to pull it around them, and they're sitting there looking at a pamphlet or something. So always remember that half of the people in traffic aren't even tuned in to what is happening around them. Now we're back on Barrington Street going the other way. So going straight at this all-way stop. Looks like the car on the left stopped first. The SUV is going straight, so there's no conflict, nobody's crossing. If you ever see a bus with their four-way flashers on, that's telling you that they're not going to pull out anytime soon. But if they had their right signal light on, then you just want to be aware that they might be about to put their left signal light on and then pull out, because they're just dropping somebody off or picking up. Saw the pedestrian light there, so I was thinking this light's not going to go yellow, but then it went to the flashing hand, so then I knew there was a chance it could go yellow. All these cars are, again, blocking the sides of the crosswalk, but I'm just approaching at a speed where I can see that pedestrian. So as you can see, this city is not made for driving. That's why 99% of the people in HRM don't come down here, at least with a vehicle. So these guys can legally cross. Technically it's jaywalking just because I had to stop, but you don't want to think like that. You want to just think it's way safer if I just stop. I'm already doing a chill speed anyways. They can cross, keep enjoying their night, and I can keep enjoying my drive. We got another busy crosswalk down here. So you can see all of this construction is blocking the right side of the crosswalk. So I'm just looking straight down the middle just in case somebody comes out from either side. The bus isn't going to pull out, but there's a crosswalk, so I'm just keeping an eye on the right side of it there. This bus is pulling out. You might want my lane. No. So I just slowed down there just in case he was looking to get into the left lane. Now I'm going straight at the lights where North Street is, so that's North Street. And then if you were to turn right here, you would end up on the McDonald Bridge. If you ever park on a street, before you get out of your vehicle, you always check the left mirror, double check your shoulder, and then open the door, just to make sure there's no cars going by. So now we're at the set of lights of Novalee Drive, Lady Hammond Road, and Devonshire Avenue, and Duffus Street. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's all kinds of lanes here. This is one of the most intimidating intersections in Halifax. But I just have to focus on what I want to do. I want to turn left, so I know I don't have the right of way. The cars going straight have the right of way. So I have to wait for them to go through first. And then I would just be looking at the crosswalk there to make sure there's no pedestrians. So we're going to go straight into the Windsor Street Exchange. Now we're back in the Windsor Street Exchange. I'm familiar with the area, so I want to go to Bedford. I know I need that right lane. I see there's an SUV in the far lane there. The truck behind me is switching lanes. So this is a complicated area. So what I'm going to do is just hang out here for a bit. Okay, the truck went to the far lane. Got my right signal light on. But the SUV just switched to the lane that I wanted, so I got to hang out over here now. Never rush yourself in these situations. If I can't get that lane change, I'll just turn left up here. So that's how you drive in downtown Halifax.